Hi everyone, welcome back to Wrestling Fun with Father and Son. I'm Father Matt, and this is Son.
Hi.
And this is our Aew Revolution Reactions. Just watched AEW Revolution, and what a pay-per-view, Kai. So a little bit to go through, so it might be a little bit of a longer video, but we'll try and get through majority of the main points as quick as possibly can. Start off with the buy-in. Not much to really say. It was a Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson versus SCU, which was Scorpio Sky and Frank Kazarian. Not going to say much about this, but the Dark Order did actually end up pick up the win. Obviously there's this tease about the Exalted One. They didn't appear, and I will say that throughout the whole pay-per-view I didn't know whether they would appear or not halfway through the show or what, but they didn't appear. We had a surprise from Colt Cabana, a wrestler. I think you'll find he's from Chicago, so I'm not really too up on Colt Cabana. I know of him, but I'm not really sure about his background or stuff like that because I haven't really followed him. But I think he's from Chicago, got a huge pop. He come down to make the save, and then somebody came down with like a big cloak on. It looked like that could possibly be the Exalted One, only for it to be Christopher Daniels, and then he helped them fend off the Dark Order. There was something that I did see from Evil Uno. They do this sort of this pose where they put their hand up. That's kind of their sort of symbol pose. But at one point, Evil Uno did actually do the delete sign, which I thought was very, very interesting. Again, does that mean that Matt Hardy is going to be the Exalted One? We still don't know. Maybe on Dynamite we might find out what happens. Anyway, the main pay-per-view Revolution started off with Dustin Rhodes versus Jake Hagar. Again, this was a nice little opener. It was what you'd expect from someone like Dustin, who is 50. He is a bit slow. He is slowing down a little bit. But Jake Hagar hasn't been in the ring so far, first match. But you could see that he's a wrestler through and through. He still knows what to do. He still does some of the moves he used to do as Jack Swagger and all this, that and the other. He had his wife at ringside, which was a little bit of a focal point because at one point Dustin went over to her and gave her a kiss and rubbed all his makeup all over her. That, you know, there were a couple of...
said Dustin looked like the Joker.
Yep. The makeup he wore was like the Joker, so it was like this part of the mouth and up here. There was a bit where Dustin did start to work Jake's shoulder, but that didn't really come of anything because he didn't really play on that later on. There was a very dodgy Canadian destroyer from Dustin. A bit of a shame to see that, but luckily Jake was okay. But in the end, it was
Jake Hagar.
Yep, he got the win with his sort of MMA sleeper. Next we had Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. Obviously this one was a bit of a sort of a personal thing because of the attack that Sammy did to Darby with the skateboard to the throat. Sammy came out first, then Darby came out. Very quick start because as Darby was in the ring, Sammy was outside. Darby went running through the ropes and started to get like a quick offense onto Sammy. They had a big
suicide dive.
Yep, a suicide dive to the outside. Jurassic Express were at ringside, but they didn't really do anything, to be honest. They just sort of sure were there, keeping an eye on it. There was a skateboard throw, so Sammy got the skateboard through at Darby. There was a table with a 630 splash from Sammy, so he set up Darby on the table. On the turnbuckle from the outside through the table with a 630 splash. Like I said, this match was okay. They've got so much shine and talent, these two, and I think they're going to be really good to watch them sort of grow. They're kind of a little bit scrappy at times, but they are honing their skill a little bit more. There was a point where Sammy got the turnbuckle pad, didn't he? And he took it off, but that kind of was his undoing because it ended up that Sammy went into that turnbuckle, and then Darby Allin ended up doing his coffin drop on Sammy and got the win. So, you know, that was quite a cool second match. It looked like Darby Allin was going to get the skateboard and do the same sort of attack to Sammy, only for Jake Hagar to come down to ringside and pull him out. Next it was the Young Bucks versus Paige and Omega. This one was for the AEW Tag Team titles. This one was a very personal match for all four members of the match. Page at one point spat into the face of Matt Jackson, and that sort of ignited this sort of angry Matt Jackson, where he lost his irrational thought where it comes to like Kenny Omega and Adam Page, because at one point they did a Meltzer driver on the outside. They had like the ramp that normally it goes down to the floor. This time it went vertical to the ring. They set up Adam Page on the ramp and did the Meltzer driver. I think it's called the Meltzer driver, isn't it? That sort of pile driver, flipping off. And then, yeah, it's sort of a tombstone sort of drive and spike pile drive. They did that, but in the end, it was Adam Page and Kenny Omega who retained. I put wow because this match was really very very good. It went 30 minutes plus, and it was a very very good match. At the end of the match, Matt Jackson was trying to sort of go to Kenny and sort of say sorry, we're still friends, sort of that sort of thing. Didn't really do it to Adam Page. There was a moment where Adam Page looked like he was going to do a buckshot clothesline to Kenny Omega, so they're teasing that they're going to be they're going to start to implode a little bit more, that team, and it'll end up I can see it going to be Adam Page versus Kenny Omega, a future match that I think on a pay-per-view somewhere. We'll have to see. Then we had Chris Statlander versus Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's Championship. Again, not much about this match. Nyla Rose went and retained. Then we had Cody versus MJF, which is one of the big talking points. We had Double A and Brandy with Cody, and MJF with Wardlow. For Cody's entrance, he had Downstate doing his theme tune. To be honest, it didn't really add anything to his entrance. To be honest, I found that they weren't really that great as singers live, and it really did sort of hamper it a little bit. But anyway, let's go through this sort of bit by bit if we can. Cody has a new tattoo on here, which is like the American Nightmare sort of symbol. He has it on his neck. Obviously, we didn't see him last week, so he's obviously got that from the steel cage to now. He's sort of got that. They said he had a broken toe because of that match, that cage match with Wardlow. So that was a focal point for MJF. At one point, he took his boot off, didn't he? And he was biting his toe and stamping on his toe and that. There was some blood. MJF got busted open by Cody. There was a bit with Wardlow and Brandy, because Wardlow started to interfere a little bit in this match when the referee was turned. Brandy sort of tried to take him out, only for Wardlow to catch her, and Cody got out of the ring. He sort of was like, put her down and all this, that and the other. He went to do a bicycle kick to Wardlow. Wardlow moved, and Arn Anderson then took it because he was standing behind him, taking out Arn. So that was another little thing that happened, and there was a low blow while the referee was distracted by this by MJF. Then Cody, at one point, Cody got his weight belt off, and he whipped MJF, should I say, in sort of a reprise from the 10 lashes. The referee was like, "No, can't do that." Only for then Cody to say, "Come on, one more," and the referee allowed that. But in the end, it was who won?
MJF.
MJF, yes, because why? Cody did 2 crossroads. He went for a third one, but MJF had, what did he have on?
A double cross?
No, he had that ring on. He had that diamond ring. He hit Cody with it, effectively knocking him out, and got the win that way. So it's a little bit of an upset, but not really. I kind of sort of thought this might go that way, but that's a few of the points I thought we'd go through. Then we had.
I think they might have a rematch.
They might possibly have a rematch in the future. Yes, that is a possibility. Next, we had Pac versus Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, and he was there with best friends. This is what you would technically think it was going to be, or typically think it would be, which was Orange Cassidy doing his sort of little shin kicks and the hands in the pockets. He did do some wrestling, but in the end it was Pac who won with a brutalizer, after the Lucha Brothers came down to sort of take out the best friends, as it were, so he had no one at ringside to sort of watch his back. Orange Cassidy didn't have anyone there, and then Pac locked in the brutalizer for the win. So it was what it was. I didn't think that Orange Cassidy was going to win this match. I did think Pac would win, but I thought Pac would. I thought Orange Cassidy might do a little bit more of his gimmick, but he didn't do too much of it. Maybe they're holding back on it for a future match. And then we get to the main event, which was Jon Moxley versus Jericho. Jon Moxley come in first through the arena. He came from the very front of the arena all the way through to the ring.
He came from the street.
Basically, yep. Jericho came out with Ortiz and Santana. That was a point to make there because them two did actually get involved in the match slightly. It was for the AEW title. There was a choir. A choir introduced the first little bit of Jericho's music, which, you know, did it add anything to his entrance? Yes and no. You know, it's not as big as what WWE does at the WrestleManias, but it was a nice little difference to the sort of the intro. There was a moment where Moxley bit Jericho's nose, so they're sort of saying that sort of, you know, unscripted violence type sort of element to it. Moxley got busted open at one point. He had some blood as well, so it's a second match with some blood. There was that little bell announce table thingy that they had. Moxley ended up going through that because Jericho put him through it. Sort of 3/4 of the way towards the end of the match, Jake Hager come down to interfere, only for him to get caught by Aubrey, the referee, doing a punch to Moxley's face. They both got ejected from the arena, but as Aubrey was ejecting them, Sammy Guevara comes through the crowd with grabs the title belt. He then attacks Moxley with it, but that wasn't enough. He whipped off the eye patch to reveal that his eye was fine, it had been a ruse all along, and in the end, Moxley got the win, didn't he? So he is the new AEW champion, which, to be fair, is giving the fans what they want, which is really nice to see after WWE didn't give any of the fans what they wanted at Super Showdown. And then after the match, Moxley did get a microphone and he said that AEW basically was the fans and that his title belongs to the fans, and that was it. So there was no Exalted One, like I said. I thought maybe there might happen at the end of this match, maybe, but that didn't happen. So obviously it's going to be Dynamite. They did announce that there is going to be a Blood and Guts match. I think that's the title of the match. Basically, it's going to be a War Games match, isn't it? With 2 rings, with a cage. It's kind of War Games. It's their kind of version of it. So overall, what did you think of Revolution, Kai?
I think it was awesome.
I thought it was a really good pay-per-view as well, Kai, yes. I've heard Cody say this is kind of like their WrestleMania, and it kind of did have a big card feel. The matches were all really done really well. There was no real sort of slow moments, as it were. I thought everyone got their chance to shine, and again, Moxley walked out with the title, which is just what we wanted. So the fans, I think, will go away very happy with this result. I think they'll be very happy with the pay-per-view. I think that, you know, overall consensus will be, I haven't seen on social media yet, because basically I've literally stayed on social media all morning to catch up with the pay-per-view. So I'm going to think that the fans were very happy with that result in the end. So if you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. So I say goodbye, and say goodbye, Kai.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.